So our incubator, the other thing that makes us unique as a corporate research center, unique in the biotech world, is we are actually using some of our facilities, or we have actually used some of our facility to incubate external companies. We were the first pharmaceutical/biotech companies to do this. Others have adopted this model more recently. Glaxo did, then pulled out when they started making some cuts about a year and a half ago. But what we did was, when in our latest transformation of the BD technologies about 10 years ago, was to take some space, bring in some of these companies that were starting, spinning out of the local universities, getting them in there, creating collaborative opportunities to work together with our scientists, and it created a much even more entrepreneurial type environment in the organization. So these are some of the names of some of the companies that have come and gone into the incubator. Since those days, I would say over the last year, the incubator program has slowed down only because right now we're looking to use the incubator for companies that are really doing research much more aligned with our activities, so they're become good, rich, collaborative opportunities, as opposed to being a real estate agent at this stage. So it was it's a program we maintain today, but we've just made it more restrictive as far as the companies that bring in. Also, too, there's not a lot of new companies spinning out of universities these days. So there's not a lot of flow. And we're hoping that we'll find some ones that are very well aligned, working in an area that we're really interested in, and we'll get them in there and collaborate. So the last part of my presentation just kind of talks about where's BD kind of focused on right now as a corporation. And of course, if they're focusing on these things as a corporation, the work that we do with BD Technologies, which is usually has maybe a 5 to 8 year window behind it, we want to make sure we're going to be leading, helping that mission. So there's 5 main areas of corporate focus right now: reducing the spread of infection, advancing global healthcare needs, enhancing drug delivery and therapy, improving disease management, and improving pharmaceutical and research efficiency. The expertise within BD is, if we want to be honest with ourselves, we can't do everything, but there's certain areas that we know well, we know very, very well. We know the science behind the disease. We have real experts in these, include the areas of infectious disease, very broadly defined, including hospital-acquired infections, HIV, even infectious diseases developing more like TB and malaria, diabetes, and cancer, various cancers, the leukemia and lymphomas, as well as certain solid tumors. So these are the kinds of areas that we want to focus our efforts going forward. So as we start coming up with new products, these are really the areas that we think we can understand and make a difference. So what I'm giving you here is a little bit of my checklist that I go through in my mind when new ideas come across my desk. So on the product technology focus, we're looking to improve drug delivery, come up with the new way that's going to really enhance drug delivery, especially from an injectable standpoint, because that's really what we know. Enhancing the quality and the speed of diagnosing infectious disease and cancer. Advancing research, discovery, and production of new drugs and vaccines. We're not a drug company per se, but we work very close. Our customers and partners are drug companies. We want to make sure help them be productive, get new products out to the market. Our interests are products and technologies, typically things that are focused. I'm going to show you a list of, talk a little bit about M&A strategy. And our CEO would say, BD, if you understand our businesses, when we make an acquisition, it'll become very apparent why, because it will seem like it'll fit. It will be one of these things like, why do they do that? That's something totally new. We typically tend to create a space and grow from around that, as opposed to just pulling things all around that don't really have connection to our core. And also, too, we want to, this is a key thing, I mentioned this before, address healthcare problems where BD can develop or apply proprietary technology using our manufacturing infrastructure for commercialization via our market expertise. So really, so when somebody comes to me and they said, I need this product, can BD make it? It's very important, it's good. We only need about 100 of them. It's like, you know, when you need 100 million of them, come and see me. That's what we do well. But change our whole processes to make things very finite, in a very small quantity. It's, you know, like throwing a wrench in our machine. So we do things very good when it's very large quantity. Small quantities, it almost becomes too much of a distraction for us to use that infrastructure. We have that engineering skill to go there. So when I was talking about non-invented here syndrome, I mean, the innovation from BD comes from a variety of sources. I mean, about 1/3 of our products were developed internally from internal ideas, about another third from partnership, and another third through acquisition. So let me just go through, and I'm going to run through, I'm not going to read through all these things, but I found this in the archives too. I mean, if you look at BD, as I mentioned before, this mutual fund approach to medical devices, I mean, our growth has mainly been through very targeted, specific acquisitions to kind of grow our core and to build the business that way. We have never done one of these big mergers of equals. It's always been bringing in companies that had something that was very important and then putting it into our engineering system, really maximizing that and getting it out to the market. So these go back, these are each listed by the former chairmen, the CEOs of the company. So there's the founders, Becton and Dickinson. And as you can see, you know, even back in 1903, they were buying up stuff. Then Henry Becton and Fairleigh Dickinson Jr., I think sons of the two founders, continued with this trend. This Fairleigh Dickinson Jr., he's the one who the university was named after. He was also, I think, a state senator in New Jersey. They did a lot, as you can see. Wesley Howe, that succeeded them, again, over his 14 years, another group of acquisitions. Ray Gilmartin, some of you may remember him. He was a BD CEO, then moved to Merck and retired from Merck, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. Made some acquisitions. Matteo Castellini, the next CEO, again, active. And then the current CEO, Ed Ludwig, with the most recent acquisitions that we made, you know, highlighting the Genome and the TriPath acquisition, which are larger acquisitions, but are really very key for our future growth. So this is a slide I usually put in because a lot of these presentations that I do, people are usually interested in pitching an idea or trying to say, you know, how do we approach BD? So, you know, just to kind of close here, you know, we do a lot of scouting, business development activities. Good ideas can come from many sources. You know, my philosophy is there's no bad ideas. There's only maybe ideas that don't fit what we're trying to do. So they're not a fit, they're not necessarily bad ideas. I get to talk to a lot of people all the time that are constantly pitching these things. You know, some of them are pretty neat ideas, but they just don't fit what we do and how we can do it. They need to find other outlets. So when people are approaching us, I usually say we need to look and study our company and see, understand. You know, you tell me where you think that product opportunity may fit. And then 3 questions we ask in our innovation process and coming up with new ideas is the idea real? Or is it based on miracles that you're waiting to happen? Can a business profit from that? Can you actually produce a product as opposed to say, we're going to recommend that people exercise? That's great. How do you make money from it? Well, that's not. And then can BD succeed? Unfortunately, we don't have health clubs. We have for our own employees, but we don't have health club memberships that we sell. So we're not going to be able to make money for that. So those are the 3 basic questions that we kind of take a